Well, trade union and opposition parties have reacted strongly against plans to reintegrate 3 municipality-owned entities into the city of Johannesburg. This after Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba announced yesterday that City Power, Joburg Water and Pick It Up were one step closer to falling under the operational control of the municipality. Last week, Johannesburg City Council approved a report proposing the initiation of a process to reintegrate municipal-owned entities. The South African Municipal Workers Union accused Mashaba of governing like he was President Donald Trump. SAMWU says Mashaba is jeopardizing the jobs of many people, and Mayor Mashaba hopes the entities would be reintegrated back into the city structures within the next 18 months.
Is service delivery, and it's seen as this is the best way we can possibly enhance service delivery in the city in the best interests of the residents. What we have seen are that these entities are supposed to be run by the city, fulfilling the mandate of the city, yet they are run semi-autonomously by boards that do not even have to report directly to the city, and it makes no sense. This is a trend that we've seen across the country, with Joburg being the last metro that doesn't have the entities within the city's control. Firstly, there's going to be a thorough process that is followed, looking at the feasibility studies, looking at the best way of managing a seamless transition. There will also be public consultation. This is going to take about 18 months, and we would obviously want SAMWU to be a part of that.
The mere fact that there's been lack of consultation in the process, then it is clear that there are some motives. You would recall that history or experience tells us that in all processes where there was a restructuring, obviously people had to lose their jobs. So now what he's saying in terms of people not losing jobs is just a mere public relation exercise. He must come out with a clear written commitment that none of all these employees would be affected. Then we'll begin to take him serious. But what he's saying now, for us, it's a pure public relation exercise.
We thought as the ANC, but that's a contradiction. Because it's either you study how best to deliver to people, or you make a decision to reintegrate and find a way how to integrate best. So we don't know what the thinking is behind it, and that's exactly what we said and why we opposed, because we think it's a waste of money. We estimate it will cost over 18 months about 300 million rands to reintegrate 11 entities plus a new one called MTC back. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a long process.
Well, joining me in studio to discuss this further is Matshidiso Mfikwe, former MMC Environment and Infrastructure. We have Mr. Tugwana, Mayor Mashaba's spokesperson as well, Simon Mate, General Secretary for SAMWU. You at home can join in the conversation. Our Twitter handle is @ANN7TV. We can continue the conversation online. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on ANN7 Newsroom. A very contentious issue there. We'll start with you, Mr. Tugwana. Why was it necessary for this integration to happen?
Well, the mayor and the team had done some studies on how to maximize on the limited budget, because his hands are kind of hamstrung, given that he came in 10 months when the previous budget had been passed before the change of the elections. And he had to search where he could find the funds to be able to speed up service delivery. And among other things, then these entities were looked at, and it was found that a saving of approximately 80 million rand will be made out of that. Now, a saving of 80 million rand represent at least 162 RDP houses. With that, you can build that. And why it becomes relevant to mention that is because Johannesburg has got 300,000 waiting list for people who are seeking houses. But on the budget which has been existing, you are only able annually to build 3,500 houses. Okay. So you can never be able to meet that need on the basis of sitting down and continuing on that. So you have to create some contingency measures, and this is part of the contingency measure.
Right, you threw a lot of
Thanks.
numbers there, Mr. Togwana. We'll try and get around those numbers. Ma'am, is this a feasible program? I mean, the opposition is saying this is going to cost us a lot of money. It is not necessary. Of course, the DA is saying that, look, it might cost us money now, but at the end of the day, it will save us money and we'll be able to increase service delivery and obviously improve service delivery, which I'm sure is what is at the heart of many residents. Is this feasible?
We really don't think it is feasible. We think it's one of those knee-jerk decisions that the mayor is making without really putting proper assessments as well as processes in place. I mean, the report, as we mentioned, came to council after a decision has been made from the time he took office that he started by saying he's going to privatize, pick it up. Then he came with the decision that he is going to reintegrate the systems. We don't think that departments has capabilities as well as capacity to run these highly technical entities. I mean, for electricity, water, as well as pick it up, you need highly technical skilled people. And the other thing that he's not actually been talking about is that these entities are spending better this budget that Gabo is speaking about. You know, if you look at City Power, all the budget that they've been given, they have made sure that they spent it better and more than the very department. Department don't spend their money, but these entities have been spending, even getting, you know, some of the budget being thrown into these entities. Our biggest concern is, as we heard Councillor Makubu saying there, that the process itself is going to cost us about, the estimates that the ANC has made, about 300 million just in the 18 months. Then what service delivery are we talking about when we're taking the very same taxpayers' money that is supposed to be doing service, giving services to our communities, into establishing a system that we think works, that we think if there was any assessment done, it would have been kept, and that assessment would be saying to us, this is what we need to correct, you know, unlike completely collapsing a system that is working.
Mr. Mashaba says he's inheriting badly run entities, and this is why he's been forced. Let's get a word from SAMWU. Mr. Mate, please join in the conversation. What is your biggest concern? Is it the fact that you say you were not consulted when this decision was made, or do you have other concerns as a body?
Yes, well, the first issue is around consultation, because we believe that there was no sufficient consultation in the process. And in any way, history and experience has also taught us that in any process of restructuring, you'd have people losing jobs. So now surely what the mayor of the city of Johannesburg is doing now, it's a pure public relation exercise to say that there will be no job losses. But what also we were also concerned about, it's the fact that when you look at the report from the Auditor Generals last year, which was presented last year, these very same entities did well in terms of the AG's report, and now would not necessarily understand why then do you reintegrate such into the municipality. But our view clearly is that because it is all about control of these entities, they want to put these entities into the municipality so that there is a platform for their business friends to access whatever resources that are there. Because now also, I mean, there is contradiction, and hence we maintain the view that there is a tendency in the city of Johannesburg of reckless statements being made by the mayor and reckless decisions being taken. How do you say you reintegrate these entities into the municipality, whereas you have confirmed the appointment of the very same chief executive officers and managing directors of the very same entity? So now if you integrate them back into, where then will those people be?
Right, Mr. Togwana, do you want to respond to this? A few issues being raised there by Mr. Mate. First, the integration. We know when there's, even with any company, when there's a merger, the problem of job losses is always imminent. That happens. That's the biggest fear that they have. Also, a politically motivated move. What is your response to that?
Thanks for the opportunity. I think maybe Mr. Mate is basically generalizing. My own understanding of what happens when, there's restructuring. It's not the first call to basically make people lose jobs.
But can you confirm that with this move there will be no job losses?
Without me having read what is happening in the research of bringing this together, it would be unfair. But I know for a fact that if you look at the mayor as an individual, I think his heart is at the poor communities. I would find it very difficult to believe that his aim was to basically take the jobs away from people, because he himself grew up from a background of poverty. Number two, when you look at, we were talking about now money, that, Mr. Marty is talking about the takeover and of control, etc., and put a friend. There's a process now of tendering, which was set up actually by the previous administration, which is going to be much more fairer, and people who are bidding for jobs will actually be knowing throughout the process that how a decision is finally reached. And that has not been abandoned. Actually, the mayor has been marketing this a lot, that with the new approach of this tendering system, which, as I say, was set up by the previous administration, I don't think that there's an opportunity for individuals to, to come and make money out of it because they're the friends of the mayor or the new administration. I don't believe that.
We seem to be running out of time. Ma'am, how do you see this panning out in the long run? Do you think there's a light at the end of this tunnel? Should this process actually go through?
I really don't see any light. For starters, there's no research, as Gabi is saying. Part of the recommendations from council was that that process should be done. That is what I'm saying. The mayor makes a decision, then things after that, oh, we're supposed to do this. So the research is now going to be done as to whether we need to disestablish. He's taken that decision. We don't see any, what we're fearing is that service delivery is going to be affected. It's going to be long for entities to be able to respond to queries that people are going to give, because now we are disestablishing these entities and there is so much uncertainty in staff.
So you're worried about
I'm worried about response times, Okay. We need to ensure that people still continue getting their services, but when people are demoralized because there are these decisions that are always being taken and they are not consulted, as the SG is saying here, then for me it becomes a problem. We are public servants who must give services to the communities, but now there is confusion all over that is being done by the executive mayor.
Right. Unfortunately,